In order to solve this, you need to get rid of these two denominators. So what we got to do is got to find one thing that 4m and 6m go into, and that's called your lowest common denominator. So we have to think of our LCD, lowest common denominator. So what I do to find the lowest common denominator is I first take the biggest denominator, which is 6m. And then I go to the other one and say, okay, does 4 go into 6? No, shoot. Okay, so 6m is not my lowest common denominator, but the m does. The m goes in, so we're good. M's taken care of. But 4 does not go into 6. So what's a number that 4 and 6 both go into? You should know it's 12. Don't 4 and 6 both go into 12? You're trying to find the lowest. Now, could I just multiply 4 and 6 and get 24? Do they both go into 24? Yeah, but if you think of a little bit smaller number, you can think of 12 actually works better than 24. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try 12m as my lowest common denominator. Again, you could just multiply these two and get 24m. You probably don't want 24m squared. Too many m's makes it harder. But yeah, so I'm going to multiply everything by 12m. So watch what happens. So multiply this by 12m, this by 12m, and this by 12m. And watch what happens here. The first piece, you get 24m. The second piece, don't the m's disappear as well as a 4 over 3 becomes a 3? Sorry, the 12 over 4 becomes a 3. I'm thinking ahead. 12 divided by 4 becomes a 3. Here, don't the m's disappear? And isn't 12 divided by 6 going to give you 2? I'm reducing. So, with that said, I got all these cancellations going on here. What's left? I have 3 times 3. Okay, so I'll just write 3 times 3 there. And then here, what's left? It looks like I have a 5 times 2. Okay, can we simplify this down and solve it? Yeah. My fractions are gone. Again, 12 divided by 4 was the 3 left over. 12 divided by 6 was the 2 left over. The m's all disappeared. So we now have 24m equals 3 times 3 is 9, plus 5 times 2 is 10. And we can solve this. Those two combine. 24m is 19. And then we get rid of the 24 by dividing it off. So we have m equals 19 over 24, which is in reduced format. And we check real quick. Will this create a 0 in the denominator of the original? No. What would make a denominator 0 is 0, and this would be okay. So it's not, it's an okay answer. So for this problem, let's find the LCD. Well, if both denominators are exactly the same, are you okay that the denominator is the LCD? So we really don't have to calculate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply everything by a plus 3. So this one's going to be a plus 3. Multiply this one times a plus 3. And multiply this one times a plus 3. Everything's not a plus 3. So watch what happens. Doesn't that disappear? Doesn't that disappear? And I'm going to have to distribute this right here. You can see that. So on the left side, all I have is a negative 2 left equals. And then I have this 1 left. And then I have a negative 6 times a and a negative 6 times 3. So negative 6 times a is negative 6a. And negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Now we solve. Can I combine these two right here?
Yeah.
So I have negative 2 equals negative 6a, and 1 and negative 18 is negative 17. Now to solve, I'm going to add the 17 over. And I got negative 6a equals, what is that, 15? And then I divide both sides by negative 6. Now my answer is a equals, 15 and 3 have something in common. 15 and 6, I said the answer. 15 and 6 have 3 in common. So that would be negative, because there's one negative in it, and that would be 5 halves. And negative 5 halves is about negative 2.5. Would negative 2.5 create a 0 in either of these denominators? No. What's the restriction on these ones is negative 3, because negative 3 make this 0. And so that's not it's close to the restriction, but it's not. So my answers for both of these are good. Just remember on these problems, look at the denominator. If there's just one of the same thing, just multiply everything by it. If they're different denominators, multiply by one denominator at a time, or kind of try to find the lowest common denominator to do one big gone denominators.